Hi everybody, Miss Kathy back on Friday, March 27th here at the Cottage School with some bluebonnets and some Indian paintbrushes here in front of us. I picked these from the side of the road, not a Texas State highway, because that's where it's illegal. It is legal to pick them on property that you own or property that you have permission to pick them on. It is also legal to pick them on roadways in Texas, just not state highways or interstates in Texas. As well, it is legal to pick them if you are a teacher and you're using them for educational purposes, which we are doing. So, I picked a few. As you see, the bluebonnets aren't looking quite as good as the Indian paintbrushes. We're not going to talk about the Indian paintbrushes today. We may talk about those next week, not sure. Possibly, but get out your bluebonnet page. And it looks like this. And it has the word bluebonnet. It's really big, bluebonnet. Okay, so let's take a look at what this bluebonnet page says. Oops, sorry, that was nice and out of focus until just now. It says the bluebonnet, or Lupinus texanius, which is a Latin word, and that's the genus and the species, so that's its scientific name, is a perennial in warm climates and an annual in colder climates. So the bluebonnet flower and plant means that it comes back. A perennial means it comes back year after year in warm climates. And an annual means it can live for one season, but it probably won't come back. It would have to be replanted unless its seeds came off the flower after producing the flower and went into the ground, and then it could grow up again. That's part of the reason why we're not supposed to pick bluebonnets off of Texas state highways and interstates, because we're going to find out it is the state flower of Texas, and if we don't let it drop its seeds down and down into the ground to be able to be buried and grow new ones, we won't keep having bluebonnets grow back. So let's look back down at our paper. It says the bluebonnet blooms in the early spring and can be easily found in fields and along roadsides throughout Texas. It was adopted as the state flower of Texas in 1901. What year is this? This is, take a look at this is 2020. So that was over 100 years ago. 119 years ago, it was adopted as the state flower of Texas. Okay, this is a little note to your parents. It says, please read the information and questions on this page on the research form to your child as needed. She can copy the answers onto the research form, or you may write the answers and have her trace over them. All right, let's look at the next page. That's our research form. And it asks questions such as, well, let's start at the beginning. You can put your name and you can put the date. It says bluebonnet flower research. It also gives you a little bit of information here. It says you can also use these two websites to find out much more information about bluebonnets. And they're right here. It's usefactstokids.com, Texas State Flower. And here's another one is KERA News. And it's 15 amazing things you should know about Texas bluebonnets. So those are two websites I found that had a lot of good information on bluebonnets. Here is the first question. What is the name of your flower? So what flower are we researching? Here's a big hint right here. Here's the picture of it, and here's a picture of it. Yes, it's the bluebonnet. And you can copy it right from the top of your paper. You can write the answer right there, bluebonnet. All right, I'm going to go on down and just read these to you. What is the flower's scientific name? And I wrote hint. It is in parentheses next to the name. Let's look back at our page. We read it. The bluebonnet. Lupinus texinus. Sorry, I pronounced that wrong. So that's the scientific name. So you can copy that. Remember, the genus has a capital letter. It's like the species first name. So Lupinus texinus. Sorry, my fingernail is a little bit yucky because I was picking up the bluebonnets. Anyway, you can write that, the scientific name right here. Have your parent write it for you and you can trace it. Here's the next question. It says, in what climate does the bluebonnet like to live? Well, let's look back over here. What does it say? Let's find that. In warm climates. That's where the bluebonnet likes to live. But it can also live in colder areas. So you could write that right here on this line. In warm climates and in colder areas, if you want to write all that. All right, you might be able to answer this next question on your own since we talked about it. The bluebonnet is the state flower of what state? Where do we live? What state do we live in? Well, we live in North America. We live in the United States of America, and we live in the state of Texas. So it is the state flower of Texas. All right, let's go back over here. What year did it become this Texas state flower? Oh, do you remember that? We talked about that a minute ago. In 1901. That was a long time ago, 119 years ago. The government of Texas at that time adopted the bluebonnet as the Texas state flower. So that answer would go right here, 1901. Here's a question that only you can answer. Are there any bluebonnets blooming in your neighborhood? Well, I don't have any exactly in my neighborhood, but there's some blooming on Hillcrest, which is right by me and by the cottage school. So I'm going to write yes. And then here's another question. Have you seen any along the roadsides around Waco? Well, you may have been stuck at home for a bit, but maybe if you've had to go to the grocery store, if you've certainly like me have had to travel to Fort Worth or out of town, you probably have seen some bluebonnets growing on the side of the road. I got these on the way to Fuzzy Friends, which is closed, and that is not a Texas state highway, and it's a public road, and I was given permission to pick the flowers. So I'm going to write yes there also. Now, here are the directions. It says, color your bluebonnet coloring page. Then I gave you the directions. Attach it to your completed research. So we're going to move to this and we're going to color this. I'm going to get you started on it. Hopefully you can finish it on your own. I do want to read this to you. It says, bonus, tell an interesting fact about bluebonnets from the websites. So if you're able to look up any information on bluebonnets from these websites, you can tell your mom or your brother or sister, or you can write something down here in this space. Here's the rest of the directions here. Draw your own picture of a field of bluebonnets below or on another sheet of paper. So you can use this bottom space to draw the bluebonnets in a field, or you could even do it on the back. Okay, let's go to coloring our Bluebonnet now. Let's take a look. To me, the colors look like they're blue and purple and white and a little bit of green. Oh, there's something I really want to show you. I may have to have two hands for this, but Bluebonnets look as if they have a little claw, but they really don't. It's their seed. Take a look right there. Can you see that? Looks like a little claw. I pulled back the bottom part of the flower. Oops, may not be too good at this. Might take two hands. Let's see. Oh, there it is, the little claw. So if you have any Bluebonnets in your neighborhood or anywhere that you've given permission to pick, you can try this for yourself. But that actually, what is being exposed is the seed. But it certainly does look like a little claw. Okay, let's see if I can color this. It says white buds. So up here is the white with a little bit of green. It says blue flowers, and it says green leaves and stems. So I've gotten my Prismacolors out here. I'm in the classroom, and I've tested them like you guys like to do on your paper. So I'm going to start with maybe a dark blue. Pretty sure that's dark blue. I think I might like this blue better. And you don't have to do it perfectly. You can color it, just color the flowers all blue. Looks like each of them have a little bit of white in them, so I may leave some of it white. It also looks like it has a darker part around it. So let's see. Let me color all this blue and put some extra white in there, or a little bit of the darker kind of purplish blue. Leave a little bit of the white. This white can go, the Prismacolors can go over, and it kind of put a little bit of the white inside there. Let me color this white with come back with a little bit of yellow or green, because that is what it looked like to me on the actual flower. You can certainly look up a picture of a flower on your computer, and Bluebonnets, there's lots of photographs of Bluebonnets, certainly at this time of the year. Now see, that looks like the flower to me right there. So I think I'm going to do this with the blue. It's a little bit hard to hold a camera and to color, and then I'll leave that white. But I agree, there are white pods, or the buds on the end. Do you see those? Let's get that in focus right there. Ooh. And they're white and a little bit of yellow, actually. This is a vertical view of it. Let's go back. So I don't know that I have any yellow here, but I'm going to come back. I'm going to move on down to my green. I have a darker green, oops, that I might use for my stems. They look a little bit darker to me. So I'm coloring my stems. And then I might use a, let's see, this is called an apple green. Might go over it with the dark, but anyway, hopefully you have some good colored pencils. You could even use markers, although I don't think they'll look quite as good. And color your Bluebonnet. I'd love to see your results once you've colored it. You can text a picture to me. We'll text a picture to everybody, or send a picture to everybody. I think it would just be wonderful if you have worked hard on your Bluebonnet page, that we share it with others. Now, If all you can do is color the Bluebonnet page and have someone read this information to you, or that you read it along with me, that is perfectly fine. A-okay. If you can't get your research page done, don't worry about it at all. But I wanted to give it to you while the Bluebonnets were still out and blooming, and hopefully you can have a beautiful picture of Bluebonnets. Oops, I'll see you next time. Bye.